Welcome to Be Still and Notice, a yoga podcast. Join me, your host, yoga and meditation instructor Helen Taylor, to dive deeply into the vast ocean of wisdom that is yoga. Explore with me how these ancient practices can help heal and elevate us physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in an ultra-modern world. Together, we'll deepen our practice, explore our connection to divinity and our own inner landscapes with the help of special guests, guided meditations, how-tos, and oh, so much more. Yoga has the incredible power to change your life on every level, and it all begins with stillness. Now let's begin. Hello everyone, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 3. Oh my goodness, this has got to be my favourite episode. One of my favourite episodes so far. So I am so delighted to have you listen to this, and I hope you get as much from this conversation that I did. I felt so expanded on every level after this conversation with this incredible woman. So her name is Tamara, aka Cuchira Levinson, and she's an Argentinian born, but now grew up in the US and lives in Portugal with her husband. And Tamara is an incredible, one-of-a-kind person who, what she does is really hard to put into words, but she started her life in gymnastics and competed at the Olympics, and then she moved into dance, and her offerings now are absolutely incredible. She calls herself a life doula, which I absolutely love, and a somatic philosopher and therapist. And really what Tamara does is she teaches people how to come into their own body. She teaches people the innate intelligence of the body and why it's such a key part of our existence and expression, emotional regulation, our mental health, or just our whole holistic well-being. Why it's so important to really talk the body's language and to listen to what the body has to say. And she has so many amazing offerings, which I am going to be sharing in the show notes. And I personally came across Cuchira, I say in the episode, someone else I was following on Instagram, their stories, and I was just so drawn to her presence, her wildness, and her ability to have absolutely no ego. And I think that's very, very rare in this world. Tamara to me is someone who is completely connected to Source. We talk a lot about her childhood, her parents and her life, and she lives her life so fully and so honestly, I was going to say honesty, in rhythm and in alignment with what she teaches. And that again, I think is very, very rare in this world. Tamara also gives really practical ways that we can each come into our own bodies on a daily basis. It's a beautiful conversation. She shares about her beautiful doggies that she has, the death of her doggy Capo, and her husband Rubens, who clinically died a couple of years ago and then miraculously fully recovered after a liver transplant. Like, really miraculous, incredible story. And I just love her perspective on death and life, spirit and source. But really the core of our conversation is why the body is a key part of our healing, our expansion, our growth, our very existence as human beings. So it's a really good one. Like I said, I felt so expanded for days afterwards. So I invite you to get comfortable. As always, grab a nice cuppa, settle in, and I really hope you enjoy this beautiful conversation. Hello!
Hello. Hello, Helen. We had a little chat before this, so we've been acquainted. But hi, everybody out there.
Yeah.
You're included in this conversation.
We've actually had to go, hang on a minute, let's press record, because
Yeah, we were already getting into it.
we were already getting into it. So first of all, I'm going to call you Tamara. Is that okay?
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. Where does the name Cuchira come from? I'm not sure.
Cuchira is my superhero name.
Your
So,
superhero name?
do you want the full story?
Yeah, sure.
I mean, the full story is basically, and I'm sure we'll get into this more, but I grew up as an athlete. So, as an athlete, life is very rigorous and exact and trained and focused. And it's just, that is your life. There's no other life outside of that. And so then when I finally left the sport of rhythmic gymnastics, at like 18, I moved to New York City to become an artist, a dancer, an explorer, just curious person, because as an athlete, you're not a person, you're a robot, you're a machine, you get a job done. And I competed at a very high level. So that was my whole life. So when I moved to New York City, I started to explore all the facets of myself. And I eventually got into this off-Broadway show, which was wild. It was like this wild rave. Literally, we were like jumping from rafters on bungees, running up walls. I mean, it was like insane. Anything was allowed. I don't even know how they allowed the things that we did, to be honest with you. And in that show, I discovered Cuchira. And Cuchira, Cuchi, Cuchi, pubis, vagina, right?
Right, yeah.
She spoke from there. She was like that was her power. And
So
she
like
just,
an alter ego, like your other personality,
yeah,
or
I don't think it was my alter ego. I think it's me that I never got to discover. And so I just let her rip, literally. I let Cuchira do whatever she wanted. And this show was from Argentina, which is where I was born. And so the codes of the Argentine people are much different than the Americans. We're much more like free and wild. We dance, we sing. So it just let me fully explore the sensual, the sexual, the wild, the beast, the raw. And Cuchira gave me permission to do that. And so that's kind of what it was. And then Instagram came around. Instagram wasn't a thing. And I didn't think anybody would follow me. We didn't know what Instagram was at that time, right?
Yeah,
so I was like,
yeah.
I don't know, Cuchira, at Cuchira. And then everybody started calling me Cuchira because they thought that was my name, which I thought was really cool. Because I'm like, yeah, because that's actually who I am. I am Cuchira.
Yeah, I love that.
So, yeah. So she's cool.
Well, I have to say, so a little bit of background.
Yeah,
First
let's
of all,
go back.
thank you so much for coming on. I mean, I've been following you. So Instagram is how I found you. On someone else's story, someone else shared this story of yours, and I was like magnetized by your energy, this wild kind of free. I was watching you move, and it made me tingle, and it awakened something. And I'm sure you hear this all the time. Something in me that was like, "Oh, what is this?" And so it's probably been about 6 years that I've been following you and
Amazing.
watching from afar. And I think what you do is just so powerful. So that's why I reached out and wanted to speak to you, so we could have a deeper conversation, share what you do, because I think it's so needed now.
Thank you, Helen. You see me for sure. Can already tell.
So, so you describe yourself. So just so people know what you do, because it's just, sometimes it can be quite difficult to kind of label what you do, because what you do is so different. Like we've had this conversation, haven't we, that what you do isn't really being, I don't see anyone else really doing anything like what you do. So how would you describe to someone that's never met you, never seen you, what you do, the work you do?
Simplest way, what I do is I remind you of your humanity. I remind you how to be human, because I think we live in a world that really takes that away from us. You know, at all facets of our life is trying to pull us away from our humanity. And when I say humanity, I mean like the primitive parts of us, the parts of us that, as you said, you know, when you first saw me, there was a pool. Why was there a pool? Because you saw in me what you have in you. And, you know, and we can all see that like raw expression, that fearlessness of being who you truly are. Which is why I always say be beautiful, because we are the most beautiful when we are who we are. And we only really know how to be who we are. That's what we know. It's like innate. And so my work is really always coming back to, now it's very popular to say like becoming who you already are. But it really is that. It's coming back to the soul's calling, coming back to your true self, coming back to who was already born the day that you were birthed, literally. And that can sound really easy, but is so not, as we all know. And it's a practice, a constant practice of honoring self and remembering. I do that firstly through the body. I would say body first, because I think that the body is the most raw organism. It's where we live, literally in our bodies. It's home. You cannot escape it. You cannot put it for rent. You cannot sell it. It is with you from beginning to end of journey, right? And again, the world tries to pull us away from our bodies. And so a way to come back to who you are is through the body first. Also, the body doesn't compromise. It doesn't negotiate. It's an intelligent, present tool, we could say. So that would be the first thing. And then the second thing is, of course, mind. Mind is powerful. Mind is necessary. Mind is a lot of somatic therapists or somatic teachers, I think, pull only towards body. But I think we are body, mind, spirit, soul. Like it's emotional. It's all connected. So it has to be a cohesion. It has to be a fluid dance between all. So then I'll take it to mind, and then mind, body have conversations, like lovers, like friends, not like enemies and not like strangers, which is, I think, what a lot of people do. A lot of people don't even realize that there's, two beings within you, mind, body, but also I see us as like Russian doll set. You take the doll out, you pull out another, there's many bodies within bodies within bodies within bodies. So these are kind of like all my theories. So to simplify this, it would be body first, then it would be the authentic impulse, right? Like your authenticity. And then it would be beyond the narrative. So you have the narrative, and then you strip away beyond narrative, beyond narrative, beyond narrative. So these are the kind of the three themes I work with.
Wow, there's so much
Yeah,
there.
I know there's a lot there.
It's amazing. No, but honestly, it's amazing. And I know you have there's a little bit of yoga experience in there, isn't there? So we could probably come back to that later if you want to talk about it. But there's actually a lot of similarities, isn't there, with the philosophy of essential kind of embodiment, coming back to yourself, being present, being in the moment, and these energetic layers. Like we're not, like you say, we're not just one thing, are we? We are so many things all at once.
So many things. And at the same time, nothing at all.
Exactly.
That's why it gets so
Exactly.
confusing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a massive head fuck.
Yeah, it is. Which is why you can't go to the head, which is why you have to go to body first. Point proven.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the
Yeah,
body is so honest, isn't it? It's
it is.
so, like you say, raw, and that raw intelligence. So, so you would describe yourself as a somatic philosopher?
Yeah. So that's what I say. I'm a somatic philosopher. And why? Why is that? Even though I'm a somatic therapist, even though I know the body in and out, um, I go to the word philosophy because I'm curious about it in a much deeper way than just let's do this exercise, let's tap, let's, I think all of that is still working on the superficial surface. I'm actually very not interested in the superficial surface because it's like a band-aid to a wound, It's going to make you feel okay for a while, but then you're not going to get past that. Like you can use certain somatic techniques to make you feel better, and people usually think, okay, I'm healed. That worked. But what will happen is the closer you get to the door, which is what I call like the transcendence, right? To awakening to the other side, to enlightenment. These are all big words that I'm not a fan of, but we use them to explain this thing that
Yeah.
cannot be explained, right? So the closer that you get to the door, the less all these somatic exercises will work. And so people on this journey to like coming to their true self start to realize that, oh, now the shaking out doesn't work, the activation doesn't work, the tapping doesn't work, and all these things don't work because now you're stripping away, stripping away. So how are you going to get to source, to root, back to self? The only way is to actually question things, to think about them in a deeper sense, right? To philosophize a little bit, but not through mind, because this is where it gets tricky. You don't want to get heady about this stuff. So as a somatic philosopher, I try to almost have these sensation conversations with myself, right? Like I'm always peeking in, almost like I imagine. I work a lot with imagery because we're talking about the formless world. So there has to be some sort of image to be able to understand this stuff. So I think of my body as like having a million doors that I can open, little doors, doop, 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 right? And I can go inside, and each door that I open, there's like something new to discover. And those doors are endless through tissue, through muscle, through organ, and then beyond into like, I think beyond this is just space, 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 space. So I have a million doors that I can look through, that I can question, and one door can take me to the other. And then I have this amazing maze inside of me that can deliver all sorts of answers that lead to other questions, and you see how I can go and go and go. But ultimately, what you start to realize as you peek through all these somatic doors is that every door will take you to the same place in the end. And that becomes the real mind fuck, because you're like, what? So so that's kind of how this somatic philosophy works. And this is really what I guide people through, which is why it's impossible to label, impossible to explain. And people are like, what are you even talking about, Tamara? The thing is, when you come and do this work with me, it's actually wild how much it makes sense and how easy it is because it's innate. When we talk about it, it sounds so complex and confusing, right? Because this is a world without words that we're talking about. Yet we all know the words because we carry them, we feel them all day, every day, and it doesn't go away. And the more you ignore it, the louder it gets.
Yeah, I had a teacher who, one of my teachers, I've been blessed with my teachers, Freddie. We were in India, and she said to me, "You can never teach." Bringing it back to yoga, you can never teach yoga. You can't teach it. You have to experience it.
That's how it is.
It's exactly the same, right? Because you can't, like you say, you're talking about something that's completely without shape, without form. Words can't describe it. And now I'm getting all tingly. Words can't describe it. It's completely, music doesn't, I mean, music might take you closer, but until you experience that feeling, then you go, ah. Is that what you
That's
find with your
right.
clients? It's like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I get where I'm, going.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, because our lives in general, of course, we all experience different lives, different ways, but in general, the life of today seems to be more static than ever, more external than ever. I mean, we are on these phones like maniacs, we're
Yeah.
like this. It's just wild. We're getting further and further and further away from ourselves. So when people come to me, maybe the first section is just an activation session, right? Where we're moving, we're screaming, we're bringing back the primitive body. And that's like a drug. I mean, when you feel that aliveness again, it's like, ah, and all this emotion arises. It's so easy to access because it's on the skin. It hasn't been awakened in a long time. It's like the beast is awakening. But the more that you do the work, actually, the quieter it gets, the less movement it has, you know? And it's an interesting thing because I find that first session where that big activation happens hooks people in and they want that drug again because it feels so good to be alive that then they seek it all the time. But this is when like the transition between like seeking yet another drug and actually having the conversation relationship with body starts to like morph. And so, I mean, I think I don't know where I'm going with this, but I think I'm trying to give this practice a little bit of shape and dance because it's so difficult to explain. But it is like life. It's like a roller coaster, up and down. I mean, essentially you're just building relationship with self, always with self, because we're always so external. Everything is always so external.
Yeah, yeah. And so just to take it back, because I always ask people that come on to give me a little bio, and you sent me a really amazing bio. It was really lovely to read, actually. And in that, you talk about, basically being your 5-year-old self in your bedroom, and you're still like your 5-year-old self dancing and being wild. And can you just talk a little bit about your journey, a little bit, because I know it's not your favorite thing to talk about, but you've had this
No, it's okay.
incredible career. So just talking a little bit about that and how you've got to where you are now.
Yes, this is kind of like in two separate parts for me, this question. So one thing is my career and the other is the 5-year-old self. And they actually, it's interesting because people always put them together, but to me they're very separate, incredibly separate. So the career is, I was born in Argentina. I came to the United States when I was 5. My mother saw that I had a lot of, we'll call it energy. So she put me in gymnastics, and I was very small, very flexible. And so I did gymnastics. It went well, but I didn't have a lot of strength because I was so tiny. So at age, I think it was like 11 or so, a rhythmic gymnastics, for those that don't know, rhythmic gymnastics like the ribbon, the hoop, the ball, it's a different sport. A rhythmic gymnastics came into my gym, and so I was like, oh, what's that? And so I transferred to rhythmic gymnastics. My body just took onto it really well. It was like came to me very easily. And by 15, I was competing at the Olympic Games representing the United States. I was national champion, and I had this big career. And that was like really my life from age 5 to 18. I was an athlete, a professional athlete. That's all I knew. And that's what I lived and died for. Incredible struggle, incredible sacrifice. It was not easy. Yeah, I look back at that, to me, that was like a completely different life and a completely different human. But what it taught me was an insane amount of discipline, like the power of the mind, truly, the power of the mind to stick to something that is incredibly difficult. I mean, I was like starved to death. It was a little bit, I would say, abusive. But I think anything that takes you to such a high level will be. If you abuse yourself or if a coach abuses you, then you have to push yourself to a limit. So my mind became very, very strong there. And so then that eventually, when I left the sport at 18, I just had an insane need to express myself, because sport is not expression, it's perfection. You're seeking perfection.
And performance, would you say it's...
No.
No,
Not even. Sport is not performance. It's you're there to get a score to win. So the goal is only to win. You win through perfection. So the performance and the expression came later through dance, where I was like, started to question, like, but who am I? Like, who's Tamara? Because right now I'm a machine. I can get things done. I can make it perfect. I will work hard, to accomplish. So, but then I was like, who am I? So I moved to New York City at 18, 19, and the only thing I knew was body. This was my craft. So I was like, okay, let me try to be a dancer. But what I didn't understand was that dance was very different. It had nothing to do with sport. So I was essentially starting over. I had to learn, counts and rhythm. And I had been dancing through my gymnastics career, for sure. I'd done like a lot of jazz and a lot of ballet, but not as like the heart of it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then at that time, New York City was not the New York City we see now. It was very free. It was artistic. It was open. It was like crazy. So I got
Very
to
moving.
explore myself completely raw. I would go to the clubs, the underground clubs at night, and just dance for 2 days straight throughout the whole weekend. Just dance and dance and dance and feel like there were drummers there and like all sorts of like interesting people from all over the world, dancing in different ways, moving their bodies in different ways, being in different bodies. And to me, this was like a world that was like, it was breath. It was freaking life force. So I just like chewed that up. And in the meantime, I was doing auditions to try to get work, which was actually very difficult for me because I didn't grow up in that world. So my whole expression was completely different. And the way I looked didn't really fit that world. I was little. I was weird. I was, I was called the other, I didn't fit into I wasn't a Barbie that fit into this group or that group.
Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't curvy. I wasn't thick. The music videos, they wanted like that
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
sexy girl. But the thing is that I was so kind of what you were talking about at the beginning. There was something that like drew people in. They were like, who's the weird little girl? So they're like, okay, we'll hire all these really sexy girls that are like voluptuous, and then we'll hire the weird little girl. And we don't know what we're going to do with her, but we'll put her in somewhere.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that created like a really cool career, like of being a soloist, which eventually got me to work with Madonna on 3 world tours, and then a lot of things spiraled after that.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, it became really successful. But what I always missed was the expression, because even though I went into dance thinking it would be expression, it wasn't. Dance was organized. It was choreography. Choreography are steps that are given to you that you have to follow to look like everyone else. And that
So there's
was
that
what
structure. There's a real
it was,
structure.
another structure in a different form. And so now we go back to 5-year-old Tamara, right? So 5-year-old Tamara was extremely passionate to the point where the fire was burning 24/7. Like she could not be put out, which is why my mother put me in gymnastics. She was like, this girl, that's why I called it energy. I was like, this girl. I really say to my mom, like, if she hadn't put me in gymnastics, I really believe that I would be in prison. Like,
Really?
yes, because there was so much energy, and it wasn't violent and wasn't aggression. It was just like, I don't even have a name for it. It wasn't rage. I think it was like a passion that had nowhere to go.
Like a fire, just a fire in you.
Rah! That's the beast. That's the primitive. That's that just the raw, authentic energy that in this world has nowhere to go, because people take that raw, authentic energy and label it. They label it mean. They label it bitchy if it comes from a woman. I've heard that a lot. They label it aggression. They label it anger. They label it rage. And I was like, is none of that, y'all. This is pure, authentic passion of being alive and not having a place in this world to put it in a raw place without it being judged. And so I knew that from the moment I was born with this. This is my gift. This is what I'm here to share. This is what I share. This is my work. You asked me what I do, just what I do.
Yeah.
So if you have a name for it, let me know, because I still haven't figured it out.
I'll think on that. But can
Yeah,
I just pause you there? Because I think this is
please.
like a really vital piece of this. There's so much anger and there's so much division in the world right now, isn't there? And I can't help but think that if everyone could do something like you do, could have that somewhere to channel
Yep.
in a safe space, somewhere to let it. I can feel it now. Like let it out, let it move through your body, get it out with no judgment, safety, space. Just, oh my God, what a massive.
You just described my private sessions. That's what they
Right,
are.
okay.
And it's so alleviating because when people are allowed to do that without the judgment and without having to explain it, you
Yeah.
know, Helen, so annoying to have to explain yourself, especially emotions that don't have words, that don't even have reason. They just live in you and they're beautiful. You know, to me, those things aren't scary. They're human. Again, it's the human practice. It is so validating and alleviating. I mean, talk about regulation. That's regulation. It's not all these silly little practices people do. Regulation is I'm allowed to be who I am.
Yeah.
That's my definition for regulation. So when people come to me and they're allowed to do that and they really sense no place of judgment or limit, within 30 minutes, they always say to me, they're like, my God, I have been to 20 years of therapy and I just feel like I got that all in one session here. Because this is the thing. You can talk about it to death. You can understand it. I have people that come to me that have had decades of therapy, understand their psyche back and forth. And they're like, why do I still feel like this? Why do I still do what I do? Why?
Yeah.
Because it lives in your body until the body has a chance to express it in its words, because this doesn't speak what this speaks.
Yeah.
Completely different language. Then it will hold on and will say, let me speak, let me speak, let me speak. You see? But the moment it speaks, the body goes, ah. And why is that? Because emotions are meant to move. Emotions are energy in motion.
Totally. Oh my
They
God.
flow.
Yeah.
This is literally who they are. You let them be who they are. Oh, that's it. You won't it, that's done. You're done. You don't have to keep talking about it and talking about it and talking. And in fact, it makes it even worse. The more you talk about it, the more you feed the psyche, the more you're practicing the story, the narrative, the narrative. Remember I said beyond narrative. If you move beyond the narrative, where do you have to go? First the body, then into body, and then beyond body. Now you're getting to the good stuff, the other world, the real world, the real
The
world,
juicy stuff.
the juicy stuff, the stuff that really matters.
See, I've got to pause you again because I think this is just so important for people to understand. And I have experienced exactly that. So I've done a lot of, and we've talked about it a little bit, I've done a lot of talking therapy, but actually for me, the body part came first.
Interesting.
And then I was like, I need to explore this through the mind.
Yep.
But I've seen it with so many different people, friends of mine, people in my family, clients. Like you said, they understand and they label it. So I am this because of this. So say it's childhood trauma, or say it's, and it's, I'm not judging anyone. It's so I am this because of this. They've understood it, like you say, they've understood it, they've talked about it intellectually. They know what it is. But there's this massive, like you say, there's this huge disconnect because your body holds the score, Bessel. Your body knows, the body holds everything. And then they wonder why, for example, they've got chronic fatigue or diseases turning up or just aching all the time or just constant headaches. And it's that body like literally shouting at you. For me, I last year I was in a really stressful situation and I started getting very bizarre symptoms, like half of my face would spasm. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but it really scared me. I thought I was having a stroke. And I went, and the doctor was like, you could have a brain tumor. We're going to need to send you for an MRI. I was going through perimenopause at the same time and was starting to, and I saw, it was clear, thank God, it was clear. And then I saw two neurologists, and no one could say what was wrong with me, but I knew I was just so stressed. My body was literally going, get out of your situation, get the fuck out of here, excuse my language. And I was like, I have to listen. It's literally going, come on, Helen, what are you? And as soon as I got out of that situation, it's not happened since.
Of course. I see this all the time. We are a society that is taught to distrust our bodies, you
Yeah.
know? And it's really a shame. And again, therapy is great. It's a necessary part of it, but it's a part of it. And
Mm.
most people only do that part. They only see healing or wholeness or having a relationship with themselves through the mind. I can understand my mind. I know what I'm doing, so it must be gone. But hey, you're forgetting about the entire rest of you, which is the body. And the body is screaming. The body is wise. The body is biologically built and designed to assist you through life. The body heals itself. Look at you, healed itself.
Yeah, yeah,
You
exactly.
know, just listen to it. Let it do what it does. People are always so surprised with my work how quickly they can find a sense of like beingness. I don't want to even call it peace or to me it's not that. It's always like a sense of beingness just by allowing expression to happen. But think about it. Like the worst thing, I think the thing that creates the most stress and the most disease in our bodies is denying who we are, denying our truth, denying what we really feel, shutting ourselves up, repressing it, keeping in. You start to stuff your body in with all this hate and all this like shame, right? Like, what's that going to turn into? It's going to turn into disease.
Yeah, yeah.
Doesn't make sense to me. And the route to letting all that go is so simple. In fact, it's so simple that sometimes my clients that come to me, when we do a session, they're like, that's it? I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's it. So you just want me to like express it? I'm like, yeah.
But isn't it funny? People
Yeah.
want to, we are kind of conditioned, I guess, from an early age to look for more complication, to look beyond. Like it has to be something big. It has to be something very intellectual. And I don't know, like, why is it, do you think, that we distrust the body so much? Where does that come from?
Well, I think we're a society that from day one is taught to. I mean, look at our schools. I don't know about you, but when I went to school, I had to sit behind a desk, most of the day. As a young kid, that's insane. Like that's not it. But also I think a lot of it comes from fear and lack of safety. The one thing that in order for the body to be able to express authentically, it has to feel safe, right? And a lot of people, most of us did not grow up in a safe environment. I think that's why it still lives so purely in me, which is why I can share it, because I did grow up in a very safe environment. And going back to the 5-year-old, I was given permission and space to rage and beast out and get wild and get savage without my parents interfering. They were like, oh, Tamara's doing what she's doing, Ever since the earliest memory I have of me doing this practice is 5. I'm sure it was before that, where I would just close the door of my room, get in there, and just go for it. Whatever, scream, shout, laugh, cry. What kids do. This is what kids do, right? Kids go from one emotion to the other. We're built this way. We know how to do this. One moment you're crying, the next you're like, Mommy, I love you. The next they're back up. They're like, yay. And then they're like, And then who sleeps great at night? The kid, because it went through the innate flow of an emotion, completed the entirety of the emotion. The entire cycle of the emotion needs to be complete. We are cycles. Everything about us is cycles, right?
Yeah.
Cycle
Yeah.
of birth and death, the cycle of a period, of a menopause, the cycle of just a sneeze, right? The cycle of a laughter all the way through. To cut your laughter halfway hurts. A cycle of an orgasm. So we are cycles. Emotions work in cycles. Children have cycles that they complete. This is why they can then regulate, repair, and come back to base level, where adults are taught or conditioned. Yes. Yes. Repressed. No cycle. No. So maybe you do a little bit of a cycle. You start to cry. And then maybe your dad may one day says, don't cry. That's not how a boy should act.
Yeah.
And then you
Yeah.
learn, cut the cycle, right? You go to school, you start, I don't know, to go through a cycle and someone bullies you. Ooh, can't show that. Cut the cycle, right? So fear comes in, lack of safety comes in, and it cuts these cycles. And we become adults with really short moments of a cycle. And yeah, every time you're becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. And you see that in the body, right? What happens in the body? The body becomes smaller, presence becomes smaller, voice gets quieter. You don't want to, right? So what I say is, nah, fuck that. Ah! Right? As an adult, you go, that's terrifying because you've been so small for so long, so quiet
Yeah.
for so long. But what happens? If you just step into that little one moment of like fear and you surpass it, the body knows exactly what to do. And it goes, because when you give the body permission, it says, thank you. And it starts, yeah! So you have this euphoric, amazing, activating experience of going through not only one cycle, but 50 cycles from 50 years of repression, right? So what happens
Yeah.
next? This is activation. And this is where a lot of somatic teachers get it wrong. And I got it wrong for a really long time too. And I had to figure this out. That's only the end of the cycle of activation. If you leave someone there, this could be even more traumatizing because
Right. So what's the next?
nothing has been integrated or processed. It's
Right. Okay.
just energy. You've just moved energy. If, like Tamara, the 5-year-old Tamara, if you don't have anywhere to put that energy, it's just going to go back to what it knows. What does it know? Head. So now you're back in the head, but 20 times bigger because the body got to feel that euphoria, but now it didn't know where to go. So it went right back to what's familiar as the head. You see? So the second half is really important, which is what I'm focusing most of my work on, which is why I love one-to-one sessions.
Yeah.
Because you go through the activation and then you integrate. Now we can go back to the narrative. Now we can talk about that. Now.
So the integration piece is taking.
Huge.
How does that work for you? How do you like to?
So every person is different. There is no, I do not have a system or a method because it just simply doesn't work. How can I compare one person to the other?
Yeah.
We are so individually beautiful, and I refuse to categorize people and put them into boxes. I refuse to, because their gift and their beauty is in that authentic self. That's what we're trying to get back to.
Yeah.
That's it.
There is no label. You can't. Yeah. Yeah.
You can't. So for every person, it's different. And for every person during their lifetime will be different. I've had clients that I've worked with now for 10 years. And every time we meet, I feel like I'm meeting a different version of them. And I refuse to box them in. I don't know them. If we have this conversation tomorrow, completely two different people. Who are we tomorrow? We don't know. And this is the practice. Who am I today? Who am I today? Who am I today? And not through here, but through here. Look at women. I know that you said you were going to premenopause. I am too. My God. Every day I wake up, I'm like, what is this body?
Yeah.
You know? It's crazy.
Yeah. 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 It's
But to answer your question about the integration really, to me, I mean, if I had to give it a shape, it would be first letting the body express what it needs to, and then going back and being like, okay, what happened in there? What did the body say? I could ask that. What did the body say? And then we start to talk that. And then we see if it goes back to the head. I'm doing this because it's always like, right, that's the cycle. Okay, now what does body say? Okay, what does head say? What does body say? Okay, what do the spirits behind say? Oh, let's bring them in, like.
So for people that are just listening, I'm going to describe what you're doing. Tamara is like drawing this big circle, like she's waving her arms around and she's just drawing this big like, woo, circle of energy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Those are all, it's the unseen world that we're bringing forward, right? The shadow world, the unconscious world, whatever you want to talk about, or however you want to label it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. It's impossible to label, really. So you're creating, from my understanding, you're creating like a dialogue. It's like a conversation. So you
Yes.
brought out this primal, this energy, this you've activated whatever it is that needs to come out, this expression. And then to give it a home, to give it a place, to make it safe, would you say?
Yes.
It's like a dialogue. So instead of letting it float around, that energy just float around in your mind, be like, what the fuck just happened? You talk to it, yeah? You talk to the body,
That's right. And I because all of this I've just learned through living it. This is all, this isn't, through Instagram, this isn't through social media, this isn't even through books. This is just through my lived experience. So what I do is that I have exactly conversations with myself, and I have them out loud. I talk to myself all the time. So, but I'm actually not talking to myself. I am talking to my inner village. I have an entire village inside of me of, I would say, at least 100 different personalities. Remember how we talked about the Russian dolls? Yeah, and we
yeah.
all do, by the way. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
And I allow all of them to be a part of my community. I simply host them. I'm the host. Tamara is the host. And I try to keep the village, I think, honest, humble, and working cohesively. And so when I'm talking to myself, my village, I'm asking anger, hey, what's up? Sadness, what you doing today? How'd you wake up? Joy, when's the party? Did you invite disappointment? Did you invite, regret? Because they really need you right now. So I'm, again, I need visuals in order to see this formulas, but
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. But I can only activate my village by allowing them to dance. Like, again, I'm not going to put my village behind desk and like the school kids and just point to them and teach them. I'm going to let them all have their voice first, which is what the practice is. Okay, y'all, get up. Let's see your thing. I'm going to see which villager screams the loudest, which one needs the most care and love, which one needs to be held, which one just wants to be left the fuck alone, And then I'm going to gather us around our community, usually around my belly space, my gut space. I'm going to be like, all right, who wants to say something? So this is the conversations I'm having. It's not just random. I'm not just talking to myself.
I really love it. And last year I started doing a little bit of parts work, which is so basically what you're talking about. And I'd never done it before, but I'm a really visual person as well. So visual meditation, like visualizing stuff, is really powerful for me. And this particular therapist, after my plant medicine journey, actually, which I haven't talked about much on here, I think it's like a whole nother episode. But she introduced this idea of like there are a million different yous, and they all welcome exactly what you've just said. They're all welcome. They all deserve to be heard. They all have their place. If we push one away, it's only going to shout even louder. And it's like, I loved your analogy and description of a village, because my overall feeling from what you just said is this just allowing, like nothing is, no villages are unwelcome, are they? Like just, and this is such a massive part of self-acceptance, from my understanding, self-acceptance, self-love, and allowing, like, okay, you can be angry. It's okay to be angry. Like there's a
Not
valid
is it okay, it's necessary.
necessary.
Necessary. I'm actually building an anger course now. It's very thorough. It's very good. I'm not done yet, but I think in a couple months it'll be up for sale. But this is the thing with emotions like anger, emotions that our society has labeled as bad. Not because they're bad emotions, but because they are bad behaviored, meaning that one did not learn how to honor the emotion, So the emotion was exiled and it's trying to get back in your village, but everybody sees it as a bad guy. So what he's going to do, he's going to go over to the corner and he's going to call over shame, and he's going to sit with shame. And now you have two exiled people, and your village cannot be full and whole, which is healing, if two of your main villagers are outside of the gates being locked
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
have emotions because they all serve a purpose. Every single emotion serves a purpose. And I really wish that was emotional education, because if people would understand that each emotion has a purpose and place that is essential to your well-being and to your entirety of who you are and how you function, how you navigate through your inner and outer world, then we wouldn't have these problems. But because the bad emotions can't exist, they get repressed, they get tucked away. And what happens to them? They get bigger and bigger and bigger, louder and louder and louder. And they
Yeah.
start to overwhelm the body. And this is when all of those things happen: panic and disease and stress, which is the number one killer. And now we're back in the loop. And so what has to happen? The body loses control. Something has to take over. What takes over? Mind. Mind
Yeah.
has to come in because the body has completely left. It's gone.
Yeah. That disconnect has happened. Yeah. Yeah. So, oh, there's so much. There's so much in what you do. So, the clients that come to you, what do they normally come to you? What kind of problems do they normally come to you with?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this has taken me a really long time to understand too. What is the client that, I don't know what the word is, that would benefit most, I think, from coming to me. So what I've learned is the client that is best for me, that would benefit most, not for me, but for them, is someone who has done a lot of self-work already, that has a vast understanding of what is going on, even on a cognitive level, that has done therapy, that has tried many things, maybe has done yoga, maybe has done some plant medicine, maybe has just looked at themselves, even, because this work is also possible to do by just reflection, right? Doesn't
Some
always.
awareness work.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. um and they've reached a point where they're like, okay, I can't get over this next step. Like, I don't know why I'm stuck here. I'm stuck here. I'm stuck here.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something they feel in their body. Maybe it's a behavior they see happening over and over again. Maybe it's the mind that keeps looping back to same story, when they know already. They know, but they don't know. So that's usually the client that I think benefits most. But again, I've also had people that have never done anything and they come through, and in one session they have a massive opening and awakening, like you were telling me your story, that you just need one moment to awaken something that is dormant. It's not gone, it's just
Yeah.
asleep. You wake it up and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's why. I don't know, something wakes up.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's like a portal, isn't it? I found, because there's never just one moment like that in your life. That there could be one initial one, and then it's like a dominant, it's like a portal. It's like once that's opened a little bit, and then you go, then there's no going back after something like that, is there?
No, no, no. But the thing is, like, you will, I find that you have this portal, you're right, there's an opening, you're like, oh my God, I can see all the way over there in the vast distance. But your body is still here,
Yeah.
right? You can see it. So I get these people too. They're like, I know there's something there, but I'm here. Like, why am I still here? So it's like, again, the visual of the door, like you're just trying to get closer to the door every time. And sometimes that does regress back. Why? Because the mind is overtrained and the body's undertrained. So what I also help, which is where the somatic therapy comes in, is to train the body how to listen to its words through sensations, right? How to give permission to enter body and relax mind. So I always say, like, tell the mind to go on vacation. When we start, just tell the mind to go on vacation. We don't need it right now. And so it's, again, like you have to think that because this world is so mind heavy, it's like like going to the gym, right? If I do 100 pull-ups or something, my biceps are going to be really strong, but my legs are going to be tiny. So our heads have been worked out to death and our bodies have been completely ignored. They're waif, they're tiny.
Yeah.
So I like to, because of that reason, I work more with body too. Like let's strengthen the body. Let's give it more power.
So like level up, to level it
Yeah,
all up, so it's
that's
even.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that makes total sense. And this portal thing, I think another, certainly from my experience, and I think from people that I've talked to, you're at the portal and you can see it, but the fear,
It's always going to be fear. Always.
and it's been the same for me personally, like
Yeah.
massive, especially if you have, for most people have experienced some kind of trauma in their childhood, or some kind of, like you were saying, feelings of being unsafe. And so your body and your mind have essentially kept you safe. And this is a mechanism, isn't it? Your nervous system has kept you in some kind of safety pattern. And certainly for me, the portal opens and you're like, oh, but what needs to happen for me? And it'd be really interesting to hear your thoughts on this. What needs to happen to them keep moving through? For me, it was sometimes just trusting, like just trusting the source, trust. And that's where my yoga practice has been like my North Star, because a huge amount of that has been about faith and trust. And I think without that, I would have just stayed in that place of fear and not being able to move forward.
Absolutely. There comes a point where to trust, to me, is to believe. That's what trust means. You have to believe. But it's also not like, oh, I believe it's over, right? Like if it was like that, then everything would be really easy. The mind could just tell the body what to do. Hey, let's let go now. Let's release it. Yeah. And the body would just do it. It's like the mind is not the one in control. It's the body that's in control. So I could say, let's believe, let's trust. But if the body doesn't feel prepared or safe, it can't. It won't. And so this is why I always say, which is what I got the most out of my athletic career, is like discipline, people. For the love of God, discipline. And I actually think this is where I get a little frustrated, you see, because this to me is where the block for most people is. It is not all the other million things that they blame it on and the excuses. It is one word: discipline. If you, or let me go here, a practice, the definition of practice to me means consistency. That's what it means. If you do not show up consistently for yourself, to life, to the practice, to whatever it is, nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to change. No matter how much you trust, no matter how much you believe, no matter how much you want. So I always think of it as like consistency is number one, and it comes through these little sips. It's not always going to be a big opening, right? It's like a little sip of that, a little sip of this, and then slowly you can creep up to the door. It's like when the water is really cold, you're not everybody's just gonna jump in and trust. Some people, you dip your toe, you go back. You're here where I live in Portugal, the water's really cold, and you see people, they run up, they're like, then they look at it, they kind of ponder with it, they're like, maybe, and they go in a little deeper until they finally go in.
Yeah.
And it's that, but that's the practice. That's going back and going back and going back and going back. And what happens through that practice is each time you go back, you learn yourself better and better and better, which then allows you to trust yourself more, which then awakens the belief, which then allows you to transcend. It all works together.
Oh, I love it. It's just so true. It's a cumulative effect, isn't it? Like you're building, and I
Yes.
guess there's loads of neuroscience behind it, but I'm not a neuroscientist, but you're building this picture, aren't you, of like trust, and I can do this, and this is okay, and do a little bit, and you have survived it. And that was really for me as well, like do a little bit and you're okay. Trust yourself, keep trusting, keep working. And I
And
think,
with you, wasn't there like you had the moment of awakening when you went to Nepal, right? When you had the first yoga session and you were like, yes, but then there was a break, right? And then you went back to yoga. So sometimes the break can be a physical break, but it's not. But notice, in that break between the awakening and going back to your practice, you were still practicing. You were with it. You were pondering. You were reflecting. You were thinking. You were digesting. You were marinating in what had happened, right? It wasn't just like, oh, well, that didn't work. Whatever. Bucket list, done. You see?
No,
So,
no, it was
right. It's,
rumbling away in the
yes.
background. Yeah.
Yes. So it's always there. The question is, are you listening? Are you listening? And not listening. Listening is not being judgmental of it. Listening is not trying to fix it. Listening is not trying to make away with it. Listening isn't trying to change it or transform it. Listening in the most purest form, like, and where do you listen? Through the body. It speaks through the body. I'm not just listening to air, right? It's in there. It's all in there. And people can hear it. Because if not, they wouldn't be pulled in one direction or another. We would just be whatever. We'd be robots. But there's always a tug. There's always a pull. You know? There's always a calling. You felt the calling. Always. Always. And it will always pull back to the true self being the soul, right? What brought you here in the first place. The unraveling of what is meant to be. I mean, now we could go there, but that's a whole other world, you know?
Yeah. Another episode maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go into, I mean, what would you say? And again, I know we don't like to label things too much and it's really hard. But what would you say is your spiritual or religious belief? How would you describe that? Your view
I
of
am
the world?
here. That's it. I am here. Like I'm here. I'm here doing this wild, crazy thing called life. It is crazy. And I'm here for it 100%. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, okay, I got the gift to be born. Like, that is crazy in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I'm born on this floating round planet that rotates, that has no ground, which is wild. I think we need to like pull out, right? And here I am, like breathing without me even thinking about it. This whole thing happens inside me that keeps me alive, whatever that means, because I've also been almost dead and that felt more alive than alive, right? So I'm like, so it's all weird. It's all weird. And as a woman, I can even bring other life into this weird thing. So alien. So to me, it's like my spiritual, my religion is I'm here. Then it just becomes a pondering of like, just to make it fun, right? What am I going to do with here?
Yeah, yeah.
What am I going to share with here? What am
Yeah.
I going to leave here? What am I going to take from here? What's going to remain here? You know, it's a
Yeah.
game. It's literally a video game we're in.
Oh, Tamara, I love your energy. Like you just make me. My face is already hurting from smiling laughter.
Because it's so fun. It's so fun. Life
But
is fun.
this is it, right? Because we've got so serious and we've got so out of our
Yeah.
true nature, and I do believe our true nature. It sounds cheesy. I know it's like a cliche, but our true nature is joy, is aliveness, is like
Creativity. Creativity.
creativity.
Huge one. I mean, humans are massively creative.
Yeah,
Look back in history. Look what we've created. I mean, it's wild.
yeah,
If we take that creativity towards something that is really curious, like my goodness, and then curious within ourselves, you know, it's always got to come back to you. I think we always concern ourselves with others, but it's really all in you. And if you are good in you, then it will naturally spill over.
yeah,
Instead of pointing the finger and start always looking out, always comparing, always like gossiping. I hate that stuff, you know? Like just bring it back to you. Look within, seek within. It's all there. Everything you seek, you have. Everything you seek, you have. It's all there. Start there. Go back there.
yeah. Yeah, instead of looking outside, because so many people look outside, don't they, for material stuff. Like I need this for to just try and feel a sense of wholeness, feel a sense of I can't even put it into words, but if we all knew, if we all
It's
just
all in
came back,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I tell you, just the fact that we are here, that you were born, my goodness, you don't think there's something in you that like needs to be seen, heard, expressed, felt? Like that is why you are here.
Yeah. It's a
You
miracle.
feel it, you're part of that, of our collective inner village. We need you. But we need you with your resources, your pure resources. That is what makes us all one. And when we try to like numb or strip away or take away or fight or compare or say mine is better than yours, you're better than me, this is toxic, and it strips us from literally our gift, our beauty. I really believe this.
Yeah. And I think that's the other thing that really drew me to you, is that you just seem to have absolutely no ego.
No, it's that's old. That's gone. That's shit to me. It makes no sense. It never made sense to me. I'll be honest. It never made sense.
But you are a rare being, Tamara, and I'm not just trying to, I totally, it's one of the things that really drew me to you, is that there's just no ego. You're just you. You're just pure you, pure beingness, and it shines through everything you share. Whenever you speak, you're exactly the same here as you show up
Yep,
online. And that's
that's it.
rare and it's beautiful, and it caught my attention straight away. And that's and the wildness and everything. And what's really beautiful about what you do, and I feel quite emotional, is that you give other people permission. You don't.
Let me tell you something, Helen. I'm getting emotional too, because I always get emotional. By the way, there is no conversation that I will have while I'm not getting. I love and I hate people. This is like the theme of my life and my inner world. I love people when they are who they are, and I see them. I see every single one of them. And I think that's why my sessions are so powerful, because you walk in a room with me, I see you, and I don't want you to be anything other than you. I freaking love you. I love your rage. I love your crazy. I love what people don't love about you. I love all of that shit. Bring it to me, right? And I hate people because they are so dishonoring of who they are. And I just think like, that's everything. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not you, then it's all a fake. It's all a fraud. What's even the point? What's even the point of this life? And this is why I am so insistent of doing what I'm doing and not labeling it. Because I think the moment I label it, the practice, whatever, then I label you. And if we can go back to your first question, what is it you do? I'm like here, and I want to be here with you. Not with the personas, not with the roles, not with whatever they told you or they didn't tell you, because you're like, I really believe that you are perfect. You're perfect.
As you are. As you
Bring
are.
it.
Yeah.
Bring it. I'm not afraid of it, because I have it in me too. And when you rage, I see the rage in me. And when you love, I see the love in me.
You're
And
gonna make
when you
me cry.
smile, I see the smile in me. This is just like, we are human. We are that. That is it. It is that simple. It is that simple. And I really like, I always cry because I get so frustrated. Like, why do you have to make something so simple so hard? Come on, you guys. Let's pull
Yeah.
up.
Yeah. But this is, and we're both emotional now.
It always goes here. I'm a Scorpio, so I'll always bring you to the dark side.
But you say it's the dark side, but
I know.
I think what
I
you've
know.
just described, what you've just described is basically one pure soul seeing, and this is, I totally agree
Yes.
with you. I'm so
I love where
passionate.
you're going. Keep going. One pure soul. Keep going. Keep going. Give it to me.
We were always meant to have this conversation, and hopefully
Yes.
many more. Oh, I just love you. I just, one pure soul, one light seeing another. We are the same. We are absolutely the same. There's no difference. And you channel that in such an incredible way. There's it's so needed. It's so needed. And
And it's so felt, right? You can,
Yeah.
as we're talking, you can feel it in your
All over
body,
tingling.
right?
I'm just tingling all over. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. We're talking words, but we're not communicating words. I can feel it through you, you can feel it through me.
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Just, like when I lived in New York City, I lived there for 25 years. What I loved the most about it is that it's a city where we're very close, right? Because there's very little room and there's a lot of people. So you'll literally go onto the subway and you'll sit like shoulder to shoulder touching with someone else. And I used to always love that because I would sit next to a perfect stranger and I would just like, we would just naturally be touching. I would close my eyes and I would just open up, like literally, I don't know how else to say this, but like almost my energy field. And I would try to communicate with them. And I would wonder if they could feel me. I could feel them. And we could. And every time they'd be like, whatever they'd get, I'd be like, have a nice day. And I'd be like, yes, they felt me. But like, we speak to each other all the time through energy. What gets in the way is the words. Because words, we can dissect them to death. We can find different meanings in them. Like we can orient around them in different ways. But like feeling is feeling. I feel love, you're going to feel the love. I feel hate, you're going to feel my hate. Sometimes you walk past someone by the street and you just have that one moment of crossing and you can feel it. You're like, oh, what was that? When you like fall in love, remember when I fell in love with my husband, I saw him and I was like, oh, and it's just a look. How? Explain to me. This is the most powerful language. Why are we not all speaking this? Why are we all not communicating through this? This is my work. I'm reminding you, let's go to the real language. We all speak it. All of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just a little silly story. I mean, I live on quite a busy road, and the other morning, it was hot. We were talking earlier about how hot it was. And I was walking the dogs. I normally take them to the woods, but when it's hot and they needed just a quick walk around the block, I was taking them around the block, and I saw this guy, and he had earbuds in and a little white dog. And I looked up and I said good morning, and he looked at me, and I thought, oh, he hasn't heard me because he's got earbuds in. And he looked at me and I said good morning, and he said something like, and his energy was just like, get the fuck, I'm swearing on this episode, sorry everyone, it's just natural.
No,
Get,
well, it's
get the fuck away from me. And I didn't hear what he said because I actually wear hearing aids, and I didn't have them in because I was on my own. And I turned around and I actually said, sorry, I didn't hear what you said. And he said, keep your dogs away from my dog. And this guy, his whole energetic field
yeah.
was black, like a storm cloud. And I in that moment, the old me would have really doubted myself. What have I done wrong? And I've done a lot of work, still working on it, that kind of self-worth piece. But I was like, whoa. And massive part of me wanted to go, are you okay? Like, what? Because he was clearly not okay. And
Right.
that, you're so right. And I love that story about you sitting on the subway and like wanting to channel in, because in London, you go on the train, nobody looks at each other. I hate it. In fact, I've stopped going to the gym for that reason. No one looks at each other. No one's like, and I'm like, we're human beings in the same space. Like, smile, interact, share. Like, we might be dead tomorrow. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. But also I like the story you tell because this is obviously very common. But I find like when that happens to me, which happens often actually, because if you are a human that does live very vulnerably and very open, it is wild how distasteful that is to people. They do not like it. And I think they don't like it because it feels unsafe, because it is rare. So they're like, what is that? Almost like you're trying to like manipulate or do something. So what I tend to do, and this is a practice that I do all the time, as I walk on the street, I imagine us, again, a little imagery, like we're all bubbles, like we all have those beautiful bubbles around us, and like our bubbles can squash into each other and they can morph together and they can become one big bubble. And I sometimes imagine like so if I was crossing that guy and I felt his energy, I'd just be like, my bubble is smashing into yours, you know what I mean? And I feel like if I just have like a silly little thing like that, like I swear this person can feel it, and there'll always be like a little like lowering of energy or smile that comes, like, yes. And when there is an energy that is very opposing to mine, if I'm walking around in like a loving way and someone else is a little bit darker, is in a more hateful way, then I'll just stand there for a while. I won't say anything, I won't look at them. It's just like stand. And I notice that just by having my calm energy, it calms them. It gives them that sense of safety. We can feel it. And actually, I've had sessions with my clients where not even a word has been said. They walk in, we just sit there, I don't know, and it kind of unfolds on its own.
Oh.
Energy is big. It's big. I mean, look at dogs. They don't talk. They're all energy.
Tell me about, so you've got two beautiful little doggies.
My boy. Well, I have three. One is already on the other side, Capo, right? He's my baby. Yeah, he's my original OG. And then I have two presently here with me, which is Gancho and Pancito, my little two chihuahuas. They're hilarious. The dogs are hilarious.
So
I never wanted kids. I wanted dogs.
Oh my God. And you posted this story of Ruben, your husband, like
Oh
making
yeah.
out with your little, they're just, everyone go, you have to go to Instagram and have they are just gorgeous. And
They're beautiful.
do you know what I was gonna say? Because I know that death is one of your favorite.
I love death. Yes.
And I love to talk about it as well. And then there's still so much negative energy around it. But was it last year that Capo transcended? How do you like to describe his passing, his death?
Yeah, transcended. I think he moved on to a better world. Honestly, I think he's joyful, very, very joyful right now. Yeah.
I remember going onto Instagram and seeing you cuddling him, and I was with you. I was going out, like I was so with you. And the way my dad died last it's a year and a bit ago. And when he died, and I was lucky enough to be with him for like 5 hours when he was starting to cross over, so he was halfway between, and it was the most amazing time. Like I talked, cried. It was, and when I wasn't there at the moment, I think he waited until he was alone, like a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But the experience of his death basically reaffirmed everything I had ever hoped or believed. It absolutely made it true. And when you were experiencing Capo's passing over transcension, I'm losing my words now. I loved the way you described it was how I felt about my dad. Because you weren't angry, you were feeling your emotions, you were moving through it. It was an acceptance, like death is as much a part of life as birth. It's just natural. It's not the end. It's not
No.
the thing we need to be afraid of. It's not really negative, scary. Oh, let's put it in a little box and wear black. And so I really would love it if you would. And I know you had this experience with Ruben as well, like experience. So feel free to talk around.
My goodness. Well, thank you for sharing about your dad. How does it sit now? That was a year ago. How does it feel now?
It was January last year, so it's I talk to him all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing.
When I say it reaffirmed what I believed, I always thought that this Einstein thing, energy doesn't disappear. It never made sense to me that a person could be here with all their memories, all their energy, all their everything, the energy that we've just talked about, that can't just disappear. Like,
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm just tingling so much with our
I
conversation.
know, it's the thing. Yeah.
And when he died, I saw it, and a friend of mine, Lisa, her mum had died only about 6 months previously, and she talked in such a beautiful way. She said her mum's death was a miracle, like
Mm-hmm.
miraculous and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I experienced the same thing. It felt like I had to be there. You know how some people can't be there? For me, I wanted to be there every single moment that I could. Like, I
Yeah.
wanted to just soak it up because it felt like something so important, so special. Like, this is aliveness. This is being.
Yeah.
This is here. This is now. And I need to witness this, and I need to hold all of it. And I let myself feel it, and I cried, and I did all the things. I laughed. And
Mm-hmm.
to answer your question, when he died, a huge amount of his energy went into me. And my dad was a beautiful man, but he had loads of unsolved stuff. Different generation, like
Yep.
they didn't know the language or know. I mean, we just live in an entirely different world now. But his
Mm-hmm.
mum, my grandmother, was had lots of mental health issues, and she was alcoholic, and my granddad was not a nice man, and my dad was basically just like really neglected, like. And a lot of his sadness, from my parents' divorce, and my parents lost a baby, died of cot death, like 4 months old, went woof into me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is like a whole nother conversation of like our
Mm-hmm.
healing path. But I was, even the days after my dad died, his mannerisms were like really coming strongly through, and I loved it because my awareness of the village that you talk about was going, whoa, hey,
Mm-hmm.
hi
He
there.
lives in me. He lives in me.
And still, he is
Yeah.
right. I can talk to him. I can ask
Exactly.
anytime.
Yeah. We're more than these bodies. We really are. Gosh, when we go to, thanks for sharing that. That was beautiful. Yeah, death is something that I hold like a treasure. It's always been with me. Even as a little kid, I've been fascinated with death. Not because it's a mystery. I mean, the truth is, none of us really knows what happens, right? Because there's yet to be anyone that comes back from it. I've had two near-death experiences, and both have been probably like the best moments of my life.
Wow.
Yeah, where I have felt the amount of peace and love is so ginormous. Look, like just think, it's so overwhelmingly huge. You're like, holy shit, this is what I'm made of. Like literally, it's what we're made of. So you get to, at least for me, when I kind of did that little passing, where whatever that means, I'll never forget it. And then most recently, when my husband had this crazy, just random death, like literally he was dying. They told me that he was going to die. He was at a jiu-jitsu competition, totally fine, 33 years old, super healthy, super buff, super athletic, like no problems. All of a sudden went down. They still don't know why. They couldn't figure it out. But something was eating him alive, essentially. And
Is
so
this
he went, this
last year?
was,
Is it last year or year before?
no, I think it's been like a little bit over 2 years now.
Oh, it feels
So
so recent in my memory for
I
some
know.
reason.
Well, it feels that kind of thing. Yeah, it takes a while, I think, to like digest. So from one moment he was fantastic, and the next day he was dying. So whatever this is ate his liver, and then started eating his kidneys.
Oh my God.
And they actually told me when I went out, he'll be dead tomorrow. And the next day when I went, somehow they had gotten him a liver transplant. And it was in a moment when this disease randomly, not so randomly, stopped for a moment so that they could put the liver in, because it was a kind of thing where we can't put it in if the disease is just going
Yeah,
to
yeah,
eat the
yeah.
new organ. And it took, and he's alive, and here we are again. wild. But the coolest things, I think this is all actually very cool, is that I, again, got to experience through the many deaths, my own near deaths, the deaths of Capo, who was he's my God, literally, and this kind of death journey of my husband, is the acceptance of death and what it does to me. And it's this really interesting thing you kind of tapped onto, is that in this way, because of course there's many different ways that one can die, and depending on who you are and your story and how it happens, it can be very traumatic. But for me, death always brings this cathartic, euphoric experience. And I can't quite explain it, and I'm still trying to understand what it is, but it's almost like, oh, you served your time. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Now you get to move on to what's you, the real you, without the form, like the true expression, all of you. I think that a big part of us being in bodies is trying to get to that source in a body, which is the most difficult. So hard, because the body is finite. It's not infinite. So when the body dissolves, I feel like now you can be infinite. And so this feeling of like, when my husband was dying and I thought the next day would be dead, all I could think was like, oh my God, Ruben, now you get to be infinite. You get to be all of you, and you're so big. You're so beautiful. Oh my God. I think that we can only access such a small amount of who we are in a body. So for me, death always reminds me of like, oh my God, I'm that big. I'm that, like, it's so immense that it overwhelms me with, as you can see.
Yeah.
So again, if we're going back to the work, this is what I'm always trying to remind people of, like, remember, you are that big. What are you doing worrying about this stupid little gossip that your friend said? You are that big. And I think that's why people have these, like, if they cannot awaken in a lifetime, I really believe that right before that last breath is taken, they will awaken, because that's it. They're free, you know? But I also very much honor the journey of life, because I think it is where we get to practice. It is where all the pain is, and the suffering, and the joy and the love. But I really honor pain and suffering. I think it's actually, I find it quite beautiful, to be honest. I think this is the artist side of me. I think that it deepens our experience, and it gives us a contrast that obviously leads to gratitude.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
death is massive. And Capo, I mean, the way this boy died, it was so beautiful, because he lived it that way. I think that was the thing that I learned about Capo, my dog. He lived in the essence of who he was 100%. Not like humans. You see, humans can't do that. We can't separate. But a dog can separate. A dog can be exactly who he is without apology, and then when they die, they're still that, but free. So that's Capo's death for me. I mean, it's like he's still him, more than ever. I can feel him in my chest all the time.
Right at your heart.
Where he laid his head. Yeah, it's beautiful. I don't miss him. I don't miss him because he's still like literally 100% with me. And it was the same with Ruben when he died. Like, because he was, on machines. He was dead. And I didn't miss him. I felt him closer and closer and closer. It was wild. And I think that's where the euphoria came. I was like, oh my God, now you're not next to me. You're in me. This is so cool. You know what I mean?
Oh, I'm kind of lost for words, because all I want to do is hug you.
Virtual hug.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I was following your, obviously from a distance, following your journey and seeing what you were going through, and like, oh my God, what it must be like. But you had this unrelenting you were joyful, and I remember you like
Truly.
videoing yourself going to the hospital, and it's like, I know this seems crazy, but I'm like really excited right now. And I
Totally.
think this, because you're so tapped in to, let's just call it source energy, the reality of who we are meant to be, like our, you're so tapped into,
Yes.
from my perspective, you're so tapped into that. That's the truth.
And you know what being tapped into that source energy means? It means that fear can't get in. And so if fear can't get in, you're safe. And so if you're safe, you can express and be who you are. And if you can express and be who you are, then you're free. See, they all work together.
It's just amazing, and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm kind of
Yeah.
emotional.
Yeah, it all works together. So this is why like the work needs to be done as like a full embodied. And when I say embodied, I don't just mean body, all body. The ones we can see when we can't, because it is a whole experience. You're not just going to heal one thing and get on with it, you
No.
know? And it is an experience that is constantly shifting and changing. Therefore, it's a practice. Therefore, it has to be consistent. And it's, again, we go back to the beginning of these like very simple things that really are very hard for people. And I think it's just because they complicate.
So what? So for everybody listening who's like, this sounds amazing. What can I do like daily? What are little small things that people could do to start tapping in, to start expressing? Any suggestions?
Listen, there's two things. One is out and one is in. In is stop pointing the finger, they, him, they did, they said. Just always reflect back. I. Where does it come from in you? You know, how does it start in you? How does it speak in you? How does it move in you? You. You are the source. You are the center of you. Look in. And then in the reverse, express out. Emote, right? Just release the emotion. If you need to cry, cry it completely, fully. If you need to laugh, laugh fully. If you need to love, love fully, right? And again, do it in a place of non-judgment. So anytime that so if I'm going to express out, I'm not going to say, you said it, and you're going to get angry. No. It's the, it's just that. So it doesn't have a words. It doesn't say, you said that. It's just, I know it sounds so easy. So to make that, again, to make it clear, don't point out, point in, not as blame, not as shame, but just simply curious exploration and reflection. Very different energy. And then express out, emote. Let the energy within you move in a raw, primitive way without a story, beyond a narrative, and without judgment. Simple. Those are the two things. And by the way, if you want to practice it with me, here's the pitch. You can come to my retreat.
This is the next thing. So Tamara's got this. I really want to come. I'm like
Oh my God,
this.
you would be magical there. Yeah.
Oh, so you've got this amazing retreat in Mexico. Is it in November? When
So
is it?
November 4th through the 10th, and it's in Yelapa, Mexico, which is right off of Puerto Vallarta. It's a little island. And what's super special about it is that it's sacred indigenous land, meaning that it can't be built on. So there's no roads, there's no billboards, there's no noise. Yes, it's a jungle within an ocean. I don't think it's an island, but it has an island feel. And a friend of mine has invited me to go do this retreat on her boyfriend's land. He is of the family, and so they have that land.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's going to be spectacular. My husband will also be guiding it, so he'll be doing Rubens, the more embodied kind of like I don't want to say it's superficial body, but yeah, we'll like bring the body, right? You have to be in body to go past body. So he does that work, and then I come in and we do the emotional work. And it's just really nice to be able to connect to yourself with a group of people that's also there to do the same thing without judgment. It's the without judgment that's really big. And also without having to learn a method. You know, you're not going to learn a method. You're going to learn yourself. That's it. Just remember who you are, tap back in, and it's going to be beautiful. So you can go to my website, beyondnarrative.com. You can find me on Cuchira on Instagram. You just click the link, it's all there.
I'm going to put everything in the show notes. So all of your
Awesome.
info, all of your email. So if people want to work with you, I'm going to put everything in the show notes. You can also find Cuchira on Instagram. But other ways that people could work for you, say they can't afford a retreat right now, what are your other offerings? 'Cause I've done some of your online classes, which have been amazing.
The online classes are truly phenomenal and they're super affordable. And I wish more people would get on it, because what's cool about them is they're on Patreon. So patreon.com/movement classes. But a lot of them are just audio classes. So you just literally press play. Already the music is there. The guidance is there. The guidance is very imagery based, and also embodied based. So a lot of embodied cues, but you're not staring into a screen, because I don't like that about, online classes. You're literally just having sound, and it's very free, and it's more of a guidance than like do this or do that. So it allows you to do it in the energy of your own space and let you connect with your body and start having that conversation, especially if you don't know where to start, if you don't know how to do what I'm talking about, or if you feel blocked, or if you do it a lot on your own, maybe, but you just like a different take on it, or maybe you want someone else to guide you because you're always guiding someone else. I always have like a lot of teachers that come and do it because they're like, oh my God, someone help me. Like, I want to get out of my mind. And then another way is the one-to-one privates, which I do online or in person. So if you have something that is more specific to you, more personal, that you want to work on and dig into, I would recommend that. And they're phenomenal because we can really lay in. And then finally is the anger course that I'm working on. It's called the Anger Ally course. So cool.
Tell us more about that.
I have not really liked how anger has been depicted. I think it's depicted often as a bad guy or a villager that has to somehow rage it out or activate it out or like, or scream out. And sure, all those things are fine, but that is not what anger is at all. And I think that very much simplifies the intelligence of anger. And so I think because anger is so incredibly misunderstood, I was like, let me make a course about this. Because I think a lot of people actually struggle with anger. And I'm not just talking big anger. I'm talking even that little anger, that irritation, that frustration, that annoyance that people walk around with, That's anger too.
Yeah.
So this course is, I think it's like an 8, for right now, I'm not done yet, but I think it's like an 8 or 9 module course. And it starts with just like the understanding emotions in a general sense first, and then pulling more into anger, what it means as a villager, but then anger as like just a human trait, just a not a thing that needs to be fixed or a threat, but just a natural institution of our biology. And so if you struggle with anger on any level, this would be fantastic.
Do you know, I would love to have you back and just do a whole episode, if you'd be happy to, on that, because I think,
that's a thing, right?
And for me as well, like,
yeah,
I'm not going to go into it now because we'll be like another 2 hours on here. But even yesterday, I had a really difficult conversation with a family member, and I was so angry. Oh my God!
yeah,
and it didn't go well. And I tried to do all of my stuff, and I always say on here that I am always learning. I'm very far from perfect. I'm a deeply flawed person.
all of us, girl, all of us.
Always learning all the time. And I tried to approach it in this way, and I still got so angry. So I would love to explore that with you if you would be happy to come back.
Yeah. Maybe when the course is done, we can get back on and talk about it. Because it's a fascinating emotion. It's so intelligent, so complex, and again, so misunderstood. Incredibly misunderstood. And also anger of how it works through women versus men, it's a whole thing, this anger thing. Yeah, so you can definitely do that. That would be awesome. Yeah, I'm into it.
Great. That would be amazing. Let's do that. And I'm reaching for my notes because I normally ask, where have I put it? I normally ask all of my guests a bunch of fun questions at the end. And
Okay.
it's like, they are yoga related, but I'll try and mix them up so it's not.
No, let's play. Let's play your game.
Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
So the idea is to not think about it, just say the first thing that comes into your mind.
Okay, that's easy for me.
Okay, so the first question, I'm gonna change it slightly. The first question: what is oneness?
That. Is that.
Oneness is oneness, yeah?
No, it's that. The silence.
Love that. Love that. Okay, question number 2. Consciousness is.
Oh, girl, you're going deep and you want it simple?
Just say whatever. Yeah.
Consciousness is being. It's being.
Being. Number 3, my favorite practice, my favorite personal practice is
having conversations with myself. All sorts, really fun ones, really stupid ones, really feisty ones. I love having conversations with myself. I love being alone. If I could be alone for the rest of my life, I would, and I actually can, but this is a big fight with myself. But that's deep, so we won't go there. But yeah. Did I answer it?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Leggings or baggy pants?
Oh, baggy pants for sure. No, girl, we don't need no yeast infections. No. No. Baggy all the way.
Everyone that has come on has said baggy pants.
Yeah, because that's wrong. It's just wrong to have things tight on you. No.
I've actually got some bamboo ones. They're the only
They're
leggings I
good?
wear.
Because they breathe, right?
Yeah, and they're so soft. They're really good. Okay, must read book that's changed your life.
I don't read books.
Ooh.
Yeah. I actually take in very little information outside of myself because I find that there's so much inside of myself. I've never gotten bored with myself and my thoughts and my feelings. I'm so in love with all the things that happen inside of me. I don't need to outsource. I don't feel like I need to outsource.
No, why would you?
It's fun in here. It's real fun.
I want to get in there too. Like,
it's real fun, girl.
Okay, so if you see all of these questions, like you're going to have the same answer. So this question is about a desert island.
Okay.
So I'm going to change it. So if you're on a desert island, let's just say, what one item would you bring? Could be anything. It could be a living thing. It could be an item.
I would bring a dog. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ashram or yoga retreat?
Neither. Not that I have a problem with either, but for me, neither. Yeah. For me, I would go alone into a forest, which I've done before, and just stay there. And I've done that before with nothing, and just be.
For an extended period of time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Nice. I've done it. I could stay there forever.
Oh. Devotion for me looks like
honoring my truth. Yeah.
And the last one, life is
fucking beautiful. Life is a gift. Yeah, life is a gift. And so is death. I think that's the end.
that is the end. There's nothing more to say. Thank you. Oh my God, so much. Like,
Helen,
thank you.
you are lovely. You are lovely. And I want to say you're an exceptional listener. And that's rare. So thank you.
My pleasure. I can't wait to talk to you again.
I love that we're like two crying women at the end of this, but it goes to show that we're both very open and available. That's why we cry. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. So thank you. It's so nice to speak to someone open and available. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Right back at you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sister.
Thank you so much for listening to the Be Still and Notice podcast. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and perhaps it even added something to your life. If you know someone that might benefit, please share this episode with them. And of course, a review would be so much appreciated. Please find all the information relating to this episode, including relevant links, in the show notes. And until next time, sending you so much love and light on your path to yoga.